What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video. Funny enough, I was loading up a review for you guys, John Dodon versus Young Gale. Good chance you get that tomorrow. Dropped that battle from forever ago. But as I was doing it, in the morning, wiping, it's the West Coast. Saying it's early. I was wiping crud out of my eyes. I was brushing my teeth, and I saw Summer Madness 13 full trailer drops. 5 battles on the card that we're going to talk about. Plenty of thoughts. We've been waiting for this to drop for a minute. Definitely a solid card on paper. I don't really have complaints with what I'm actually seeing on there for the most part. Any of the gripes I have might be someone missing here and there, which we'll go over. But enough from the small talk. Let's get right into the SM13 card. So we'll start from the bottom of the card, although I think it's funny the way they ordered it. But first battle I see is Fawns and Shotgun Shug, a battle that we've been, I knew, we all knew it was going to be on this card, just the way they talked about it. It's not the biggest battle on the card either. I mean, obviously they put it at the bottom, but we knew that they just inclined here, really promoed. Shug is always going to be good for, big stage card. He's built it up with Fawns, who they're trying to push, into that top tier, into that next realm of talent. I've talked about this battle a million times, now that it's officially booked. Obviously good, and as most of this SM card is, But prediction-wise, I'm going to give predictions, probably a second round of predictions closer to. These are my initial thought predictions, but I'm going to go Shug 2-1. I think Fawns can reach higher highs with the haymakers, with the punches. You guys know how I feel about punchers on this channel for those of you that watch often. And I said I wouldn't bet against Fawns this year, but some of his battles where, I said I'm all in on the Fawns stock, he hasn't exactly fully proven that right for me. While he has been winning, no question. He beat Mac Myron. Good battle. It's probably one of the most happiest with, right? Beats him all 3 rounds clear, and then he battled O-Red, and I thought that was kind of Fonz's moment. Clear top tier, where the name is kind of better than where the skill set is at right now. And I felt while he did clearly win that battle, it's an ugly battle. He kind of won it by default. I had Red winning the first, I had Fawns winning the second and the third. He cuts third short, could have very well lost it, but Red's voice is just horrendous, so it's kind of almost like what you prefer. I just thought in even 90 seconds to 2 minutes, Fawns had better material, but none of that is going to work against Shug, and he's already proven to have some issues on the big stage. It showed again during Gnome Impact for a couple rounds up until the third, and if we get 3 rounds of that Fawns third, now we're talking differently, but I need to see it in its entirety, and I know that Shug is a pro up there on the big stage, so I have Shug 2-1 off the off the first glance. Second battle, TTop versus John Dodon. Truth be told, I don't like this battle. Is the only battle on the card I don't like, which is, it's blunt. First of all, I think T-Top has had a good year. And I think, in his gatekeeper role, which I foresaw him kind of taking, I thought he did good. John have been pretty vocal. I think John's last 4 1v1 appearances have left a lot to be desired. Going back, all the way to Ace Amin, debatable, but still a good battle. And then from there, Ill Will on SM10. Kind of got bodied. Surf, SM11, got bodied. He's not on SM12. He battled Chef Trez in Atlanta. Had him pretty clearly losing that battle. He did have the good 2-on-2 recently. So, John's a legend, So there's always going to be the ability to do that. And he can have his bounce back here, but it's a battle that I know that they promoted, but I don't really see where the real story's coming from on that. They had the 1-rounder back on Spit That Heat, but there wasn't real. Out of nowhere, they just started talking shit to each other. T-Top has been historically really, really bad in Houston. Love T-Top, but it's just a fact. SM in Houston particularly, but just big stages in Houston has not really worked for him. Didn't even win on the home event. And then John, who's kind of been on a skid, hasn't had his best look. I don't see it. It just seems like, 2 top tiers that we can just book to book. But I'd be lying. I just don't. I think that there's things about this battle that makes me skeptical of what the quality could be. Now, they're 2 top tiers, 2 Hall of Famers, So I'm not going to, it's hard to get too, at them. I understand on paper how it can get booked, but with, I just think that there's other guys cooking out here, The Chef Trezors of the world. What we'll get into more is, the Swamps and Nitties, and I don't see how either of those gentlemen could be missing from this card. I understand Swamp situation, how it fell through. Nitty and Ace, kind of done the most promo for the card and not make it. So this is the only battle you're going to hear me really get at them for that, because I'm not the biggest fan of this one. And I feel like there's been some other great battlers and battles that have been promoted up to have more heat at this moment, ticket selling wise, name power wise, and quality wise. But in terms of prediction, I'm going to go T-Top 2-1 and breaking the Houston curse, but really, it's up there. It's very debatable. From there, We could get into the top three battles of the card, which is DNA and Jerry West. Good battle. Another one we saw come in, just like a solid one. I'm always believing giving people their shot. Big reason I think that Rum and Ace should be on this card is because when guys build up, you know what I'm saying, that volume that are on the brink of top tier, or just mid tier in general, whatever you want to call them. But I think Jerry and Ace are two guys right on that brink of top tier, about a signature win or two away. And when they're right there, you got to give guys a shot. Even if you think they're going to fail, give them the opportunity to fail. This is something I'm going to say a million times over on this channel. You're going to get, and I've said a million times over, but you get tired of hearing it. It's the truth, though. When guys build up steam, if you want to build new stars, you must take chances, because maybe Jerry super exceeds or Ace super exceeds the expectations and they make themselves a star. But without putting them on a big moment, big opponent, big stage, they're never just going to get that just from battling in smaller rooms. You know what I'm saying? If you don't give them the opportunity to at least try and fly and crash, there will be none of either. You'll just be here asking questions all day. So with all that being said, happy with Jerry being on here. Him and DNA has been talked about for a minute. DNA can always be trusted up there. Has done really good. I mean, DNA's been great the last 3 to 4 years. I know people won't look at, you know what I'm saying, break it down, but when he went for this angler bait, more pen-heavy approach, I feel like DNA's been more seasoned and more detailed in his writing. The chain punching, I mean, you could look at all of DNA's recent work over the last about 2 to 3 years and see what I'm talking about. So I am going to have to side with the vet 2-1. I do think Jerry is good. I think he's had elements that are built for the big stage. He's changed to like a puncher, main puncher style instead of maybe like more performative in the beginning. Did a lot more of the props, a lot more performative actions, crowd involvement, but he still has. So I think that he's going to be good on the big stage. He could be one of the shockers in the night. Would not be completely surprised if Jerry won, but it's hard for me to bet against a professional like DNA given the scenario. And for that reason, I am going to go with DNA 2-1 in the battle. As you get to the top two battles of the card, Twerk versus Hollow Didon, the god tier shot of the card. Twerk getting a humongous match, and I think the early prediction, a lot of people are gonna have Twerk stomping Hollow. And on this channel I've said there's parts of Hollow style I don't really like. I feel like on the stage especially, a lot of those vulnerabilities, a lot of those air balls, kind of missed bars, a little bit of OBC shows. But with all that being said, there is one detail that's big to me. Shout out to Let's Talk Battle Rap France in particular, my guy. Has always kind of given me this take, and probably a take that we're going to hear as we get closer to the event. And it's about Twerk going towards the back half of the card, particularly on a big stage. When Twerk's going last or second to last, crowd's obviously a lot more tired. You have to do a lot more to keep them involved. And if there's anyone to get them out of their seats, it is Twerk. But historically, he hasn't always had the best success when going last on the card. As we all know, Twerk is kind of, it's very with the energy of the crowd. And in time, he's much more seasoned. Things could have changed now. He looks the most kind of complete and confident I think he's looked all around as a battle rapper over the last year, to be honest with you. But historically, when he does go near the back half of the card, when the crowd's not fully with him, it can cause frustration for his style. It's one that needs a lot of explosiveness and energy. And if that happens here, I see a path where, once again, Hollow Didon does just good enough, tactical, and kind of sneaks out a debatable or a win. I don't think it's entirely impossible. As much as I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the recent Hollow performances that we've gotten, there's no question that to the consensus, he ends up getting great results a lot of the time. And that has to do with just not beating yourself, always having jabs, and always landing some amount of points. So if your opponent makes a mistake, there's always the potential for them to beat themselves. And Twerk is historically someone that has beat himself a lot. I think that it's rough to look at. I'm going to go Twerk 2-1 initially edge, but I do see a world where Hollow is able to get the W in this battle. And that leaves us with the main event of the night, by far the best battle on this card, and really just a great move overall, and that is Rock versus Av. What more could you ask for? I always talk about the best versus the best, and Rock is one of the best. Av is extremely dangerous, and one of the, I think Rock's the greatest battle rapper ever. Then you have Av over here, who is just so criminally underrated and misused in so many different ways. Just resume should be so much more full, I feel like, with the top names. He's a good resume still. But the fact that I always say there's no Surfer Rock, there's no Calico, there's no Hollow, there's no Verb. It's just those top names, like classic YouTube era names. It just always seems to be like pulling teeth to get them to battle Av, but we are here. Love to see it, Rock and Av. Punch Fest of the highest variety. I think there is going to be a little bit of cave talk, but not too much, because they're real competitors. They've talked about this not being like a personal battle. So some angle punching, just enough that you're going to feel like the topic was touched properly. But most importantly, the haymakers, the great material, the performative moments and that's how you create classics, is when two guys are just going for it in that competitive sense, in my opinion. So in terms of predicting it, by far the hardest battle to predict in the card. So many different factors. Talked about it in the executive suite when we did the compendium for Rock and Av. Probably we'll talk about it again in the Champion Gold executive suite on Spaces. You know what I'm saying? The days that they're up, just look out for us, look out for Black, and all the executives, our channels, but our pages. But with that being said, I'm gonna have to talk about this battle a million times over, is what I'm trying to voice to you guys. But on first pick, I'm going to have to go Av 2-1 Edge, and possibly a classic. I don't know. It has the potential to be that good. Just there's motivation for both, but particularly for Av, this is his moment, man. I believe this is going to be could be the headline, right? It's on the top of the card. But one of the biggest battles on SM versus one of the names he's been talking about, a TTop at that. And just how many times a battle's fallen through for Av when it's supposed to go down. He has 1 million in views with Verb. They don't do the battle. He talks all the shit in the world with Hollow. They don't do the battle. Him and Twerk was supposed to go down. They don't do the battle 4 times over. This is his opportunity, while he's already great, to show that next level of greatness that he very much so is a part of and can consistently be a part of. He's had to work twice as hard. Sometimes they make guys do that in this game. It's just, I'm not going to lie, it's not fair, but life's not fair, and it's the path we've taken, but we're here now. And I think Av fully understands the opportunity, is ready to take advantage of it. I'm very excited to see what goes on in this battle that'll probably go back and forth on 1 million times. But with that being said, that is all 5 battles on the SM card. And to speak a little more, with battles like a Swamp and a Verb falling through, Nitty and Ace promo, and like I said, those are the 2 names that people are going to be like, oh, you should complain about what's on the card, it's not important, blah, blah, blah. No, people have the right to complain. And when Swamp and Verb is one of the biggest battles, and Swamp is one of your newest star talents you're pushing, people want to see Swamp on the card, man. And when people, especially after last year with Rock, what he did with TTop, you would think that earns you kind of that perennial status. You've proven yourself. And as for Rum Diddy, unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see how it could be unfortunate. I don't see how I don't know. I feel like that's a battle that can get booked, even if you don't believe in Ace Amin. You know what I'm saying? For those that feel like he shouldn't be on SM, it is clearly, not the first matchup they picked out. And for a guy who is the reigning Cody, he's the reigning champion of the year, what is the point in winning if you win to the highest degree, right? You win to the point that your peers, and you know what I'm saying, like, people are celebrating you, and you still just don't make the big cards. That doesn't make sense to me. But outside of those 2 missing, you know what I'm saying, this is a good card in my opinion. It's a good 8 out of 10 card. Only one battle I really disliked on it. You guys let me know in the comments down below. What's your favorite battle that's happened on this SM? And what's your least favorite battle? Go for both. But I think overall, very, very, solid card. Got an 8 out of 10. And I'm expecting good things. So it's been JSMO Reviews again, y'all. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the SM13 card. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.